What do you want people to take away from this series after watching all 10 episodes? And what do you say to those who can't get past the first 10 minutes, who can't,
Mm.
watch that whipping scene, who can't stay all the way to the end because of what they're seeing done to Black bodies again and again and again?
Yeah, I think a couple things. I think one, there's only two of these 10 episodes that take place on the plantation, the first and the last. I think the journey that we go on is a part of this idea. I think, I've been saying that we're trying to refer to my ancestors now as enslaved rather than slaves. And what that does is it places the onus on what was done to them. It takes the onus off of defining who they were or what they did. And I think the show, over the course of its 10 episodes, it seeks to recontextualize, to fill in this very flat depiction of who they were, and recontextualize and repurpose that image to show what they did, who they were, how they lived, and how they endured. We think of sacrifice as being this thing that's wrought in death. And I think in this case, if there's anything I've learned about my ancestors through this, was the sacrifice was in living. And I wanted to really give a three-dimensional depiction of the lives that they lived. As far as the first 10 minutes, the only thing I can say is that in making this show, we strove to do whatever we could to tell the truth about these events, but also to Hilton Isles wrote this review of Moonlight where there's a scene where the character Little asks Juan a very particular question about a very particular word, and Hilton said he unpacks the word, but he doesn't unpack the boy with it. And I think we try to unpack these images, but not unpack ourselves or the audience with it. So the whipping scene you're referring to, it takes place at night, which was done intentionally, so you can only see so much, and in a great big wide shot. I'm going to use this as an example of why I think people should, if they're on the fence, watch the show. We then go from the acute trauma in this wide shot, and we pan over, and we come off the physical trauma, and now we land with the other enslaved who are there to bear witness. And now we're showing how this acute trauma is metastasized and becomes communal trauma. I think in that way, we're presenting the image, but we're trying to unearth some different aspects of it that haven't been shown in other works dealing with these images. So that said, I am not demanding that anyone watch this show. I think the conversation that we're having around what people will or won't watch, what people can and cannot endure, I think it's very worthy. But I do think that if you want to dip your toe in, just know that the show was made with you in mind, and that we're not here to devour anyone, in the creation of these images.